Right now, we're ending 2019 with a blanket of snow. We'll have the accumulation updates, and Dave Caulfield will look ahead to our next chances for snow in your First Alert forecast. As you make plans to celebrate 2020, we're sharing some options for a free and safe ride home.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Happy New Year, everyone. Mark is off today. We begin this noon with breaking news from the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Officials in Beloit say the body found yesterday in the Rock River is that of a missing teen. Beloit Police spokesperson Sarah Millard confirms the body of 18-year-old Jeremiah Young was found yesterday morning. A pedestrian spotted the body near the Portland Avenue Bridge. Young was reported missing in November. His parents told News 3 Now he had requested to walk to Beloit Memorial High School alone, which caught them off guard. Jeremiah never made it there. His parents say he had a cognitive delay and had been without his medicine that he was supposed to take daily. After a preliminary investigation, officials say they do not suspect any criminal activity. And more breaking news this noon. Police in Columbus are investigating after the body of a missing man was found in the Crawfish River. They've identified the man as Daniel Martinelli, who was reported missing Sunday morning and last seen leaving a downtown business around 2 a.m. the day before. Police say his body was found in the river yesterday afternoon. An autopsy is underway. To weather now, a fresh coat of snow on the ground for the first time in a long time. Let's check in with Dave Caulfield. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Susan. Yeah, that snow has wrapped up for the time being. And really, as we head into the new year, we'll actually be a little bit mild. So I don't really see any more snow systems for us for at least another week or so. Doppler track is showing pretty quiet conditions. A few flurries earlier this morning have basically wrapped up. Madison waking up to a couple inches of snow on the WISC-TV Skycam. Temperatures right now are in the mid-20s and upper 20s across southern Wisconsin. With the wind chill, though, still does feel like the teens, and that will basically be the story for the rest of today. Although I expect the clouds to clear throughout the afternoon hours, and we'll see mostly clear skies as we say goodbye to 2019 and welcome in 2020. Temperatures should be right around 20 degrees. How fitting. We'll talk about what to expect for the first couple of days of the new year in your First Alert forecast.
All right, sounds good. We'll check back in a little bit. Thank you, Dave. New at noon, a suburban Milwaukee man is accused of fatally shooting his girlfriend's new love interest at the victim's Racine County home. Troy Hoffman is charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of Chad Bickler. He's accused of following his girlfriend to Bickler's home and forcing his way into the home to kill Bickler and the family dog. He's also accused of shooting at his girlfriend. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad is urging American citizens not to approach the embassy compound following violent protests there. Thousands of demonstrators angry about recent U.S. airstrikes gathered outside the compound. Some managed to breach a wall and get into the reception area right outside, where they set fires and scrawled graffiti. Naomi Ruckham has the latest.
Small explosions could be heard outside the U.S. Embassy in Iraq Tuesday, where thousands of angry protesters chanted "Death to America." Dozens broke into a reception area outside the compound, where they set fires and threw projectiles. Embassy guards hit back with stun grenades and tear gas, while U.S. troops inside the compound were on lockdown. CBS News has learned the ambassador was not inside the embassy and no personnel were evacuated. The unrest follows deadly U.S. airstrikes on Iran-backed militias in Iraq this week that killed at least 25 fighters. The Pentagon says those strikes were retaliation for a rocket attack which killed a U.S. contractor in Iraq. The violence represents a new escalation in the proxy war between the U.S. and Iran playing out in the Middle East. In a tweet this morning, President Trump blamed Iran for the embassy attack and said they will be held fully responsible. And a U.S. official tells CBS News that additional American troops already in Iraq are being sent to help secure the embassy. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
A statement from the State Department says Secretary of State Mike Pompeo spoke with Iraq's prime minister today and made clear the United States will protect and defend its people. He received assurances from Iraqi leaders that they would guarantee the safety and security of U.S. personnel and property. Democrats are stepping up calls for witnesses after a New York Times report said senior advisors tried to talk President Trump out of his decision to withhold military aid to Ukraine. The impeachment trial cannot begin until House Speaker Nancy Pelosi sends the articles of impeachment to the Senate. The Senate has the power to set the rules and the format of the trial. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts will preside over the Senate trial. Just a few hours now before we usher in 2020, and in New York City, organizers in Times Square practiced the midnight ball drop yesterday. New York police have been preparing for this year's decade-ending celebration all year. The chief of the NYPD says Times Square will be the safest place on earth with all of the security in place.
What's all the security on the ground here?
Oh, it's multi-layered. Every access point, you will go through numerous steps of screening, from magnetometers to explosive vapor canines, and then heavy weapons team you'll see.
Thousands of officers, both in uniform and in plain clothes, will secure Times Square with the help of drones and helicopters in the sky. A reminder to be safe when you're celebrating the new year tonight. For those of you without a designated driver, programs like the Tavern League Safe Ride offer free transportation. The program has provided almost 93,000 rides in Wisconsin within just the last year. All you have to do is ask your bartender about Safe Ride, or you can call 800-445-9221. Another option to get to your destination safely is to take Metro Transit. Madison Metro is offering free rides from 7 o'clock tonight until 3:30 in the morning. The bus routes will follow the regular weekday schedule with the extension of hours. In less than 24 hours, recreational marijuana will be legal in the state of Illinois. Police officers across the state are being trained to recognize the signs of someone driving high. In Decatur, Illinois, if a driver is suspected of driving under the influence of marijuana, with the driver's permission, officers can draw blood to test for THC. But if a driver refuses, their license will be suspended for a year. Not every department plans to do blood draws, but Chief Jim Getz says his officers believe it is the most accurate method.
Now that cannabis is legal, in certain circumstances, people think it's kind of a free-for-all. It's legal under all circumstances, and that's just not the case. And so while cannabis is, the state has said, under these certain circumstances is legal, the state has never said it's legal to drive under the influence of cannabis.
That department recently was gifted a $500,000 donation to hire a new officer dedicated to catching drivers who are high. A reminder, the Rose Bowl kicks off at 4 o'clock our time tomorrow on ESPN. The 131st Rose Parade begins at 10 a.m. our time. The Badgers are looking to win their 6th consecutive bowl game and take down the Oregon Ducks. Kevin Lewis, Melissa Kim, and Eric Franke will continue to bring the latest from California ahead of the game. You can also stay up to date with what's going on in Los Angeles and Pasadena on our website, channel3000.com. There's more to come today on News 3 Now at noon. When we come back, we'll see what Howard's working on this New Year's Eve in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Join us as we toast to the new year with a drink that turns any day into one that's worth celebrating. Wait until you taste these beauties. Can you believe it's time to pull out that new calendar? It's insane how fast this year flew by. And before this year comes to a close, I want to personally thank you for allowing us to carry on the Mr. Food tradition. I'm honored that you've welcomed us into your heart and home so we can keep our founder, Art Ginsburg's dream going for years to come. And to celebrate the new year, what do you say I share with you a sparkling champagne float that's perfect for toasting at any occasion? We start by pouring a bit of homemade raspberry sauce in the bottom of some tulip champagne glasses. On top of that, we add a few small scoops of vanilla ice cream. And for the part that makes this over-the-top special, we pour in some Prosecco, Asti, or champagne. Top each with a few raspberries and more raspberry sauce. Now we're ready to toast with something that's far from the norm, yet certainly welcomed. You see, the combo of the raspberry, the ice cream, and the bubbly makes this really pop. To get the recipe for our champagne raspberry floats, all you have to do is head to our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, wishing you a year filled with health, happiness, and of course, lots of, ooh, it's so good.
And to you, Howard. Coming up next at noon, a colder start to the new year. Bundle up if you're heading out for lunch today to celebrate. Dave will have an update on when we're expecting to see our first snowfall of 2020 when News 3 Now at noon comes right back.
Ashley
President Trump announces the signing date for a new trade deal with China, and costs are rising to ship large packages. Mark Liverman has your Money Watch report.
Stocks remain on track for a record year despite a dip across the board on Monday. 2019 comes to a close with renewed optimism for investors in the ongoing U.S.-China trade war. President Trump announced this morning that a Phase 1 trade deal will be signed at the White House on January 15th. Uber and delivery services company Postmates filed a lawsuit to block a new California law giving benefits to independent contractors. The legislation taking effect tomorrow would make some drivers eligible for overtime pay and employment insurance. That could cost companies hundreds of millions of dollars. It's costing more to ship heavy items. FedEx and UPS are tacking on $24 fees on packages weighing more than 50 pounds. In the past, 70 pounds was the limit to avoid a surcharge. The companies say the threshold was changed in order to properly account for the rising amount of large packages it ships. And a new service is cloning real voices so that you can get directions from yourself or someone you know. The program is called My Car, My Voice and will be used in some cars made by Toyota, GM, Audi, Chrysler, and BMW. It's only available for the voice assistant built into the car. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Mark Liverman.
And let's see how stocks are faring at midday. The Dow is up, the NASDAQ is off just about 3 points, and the S&P 500 is up as well. Farm Director Pam Jahnke is off today, but here's a look at the commodities markets to round out the last day of 2019. And Dave is here now with the weather. A fresh coat of snow on the ground. You think we'll see the sun today?
I think maybe later on, Susan, it's going to be tough sledding a little bit over the next few hours with these clouds, but I expect that decreasing cloud trend to be seen throughout the day. I think we'll see a clear night to welcome in 2020. That is for sure. Snow totals from the system that came through last night and this morning, as we were expecting for the most part, looking at about 3 to 5 inches of snow to the north and west. So Mauston picking up 4 inches. Black River Falls, one of the big winners with 5.5 inches. At the airport, just got the update in the final snow total, about 2.5 inches of snow. So we will actually finish this December in Madison with under 3 inches of snow for the first time in about 5 years. Beaver Dam picking up 2 inches, and at the station here, about 1.5 to 2 inches. So we've actually seen a decreasing trend in the amount of snow this morning as we expected, but we also did see a few flurries seemingly start from Columbia County. So this is actually water vapor being put into the air by a power plant just south of Portage, and you can actually trace those snowflakes as they started in Columbia County and to the south and east. I don't think we'll see any more in the way of flurries for the rest of southern Wisconsin. We'll actually see these clouds get out of here gradually. We still are looking at those cloudy skies right now. There still could be some areas of blowing and drifting snow because we do have wind gusts of about 20 to, in some spots, close to 25 miles per hour. But I do think the winds will start to die down just a little bit as we get into tonight. So for your New Year's Eve, here is what temperatures are going to be looking like. We're in the mid-20s by this evening, and you can see the clouds really decreasing over the overnight hours as well. We're in the low 20s and right around 20 degrees to start 2020. That would be fun if we were exactly at 20 degrees at midnight. And then starting off the first morning of 2020 in the upper teens. So a cold day to end 2019, but we're actually a little bit on the mild side for New Year's Day and also Thursday with temperatures in the low 40s. We do see January really settle in, though, by the time we get to about the 6th or 7th of the month with temperatures in the 20s for highs. On Future Track, we noticed the clouds trying to stick around this afternoon, so maybe some peaks of sunshine, but really we'll start to see those clouds get out of here as we get closer to midnight. Temperatures right around 20 degrees with wind chills in the teens. For tomorrow, starting off in the upper teens, and we'll be in the 30s for highs on Wednesday. Not expecting any precipitation as we head into New Year's Day. So on Future Track, wind chills, this is what it's going to feel like as we celebrate the start of 2020 in the teens. Some of us in the single digits closer to the Wisconsin Dells. 7 to 10 day forecast showing the next chance of maybe a few snowflakes will be on Friday. We'll see some rain showers late Thursday, and then that will come with us into Friday as temperatures dip below freezing Friday night. A few snowflakes could mix in, but really no significant snow systems on our radar for the next 7 to 10 days. I think there will be sort of a pattern shift where we get that cold weather first, and then the snow systems will follow into the middle and back half of this month.
All is quiet going into 2020. No 50s in that extended forecast anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, it
Hope
had
you
to.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, that's what you expect, right?
Yeah, and so it's quiet, so we can hear all those champagne corks pop.
Exactly.
Tonight.
Exactly. No
Happy
travel
New
trouble.
Year.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. Coming up next at noon, a Marathon County woman is searching for the person who helped her pay to send a holiday gift to her husband, who is deployed in the Middle East. We'll have that story when we come back.
News
A woman near Wausau is looking for the Good Samaritan who turned her holiday season around at the UPS store. Stella Porter shares her story.
There are days where I'm on top of the world doing wonderful, and then there are days where I'm in a funk.
The holidays were putting Tammy Mecca in a funk. She and her daughter are not able to spend this time of year with her husband, Eric. because he's deployed in the Middle East.
You always ask, are you doing okay? Do you need me to send you anything? Those were always the two things that I always wanted to make sure.
Last week, she decided to send some extra goodies, but when she got to the cashier at the UPS store in Rib Mountain,
she gave me the final total, and I was like, wow, that was a little more than what I thought. The Good Samaritan behind me tapped my shoulder and said, here, I hope this helps.
That's when the stranger handed Mecca a $100 bill.
The cashier started crying. I started crying. This time of year, money is tight.
Mecca says she cried all the way home and posted about her experience on Facebook. That post went viral, resonating with hundreds of people.
It goes to show that there are good people here in Wausau yet, and in the world.
She wants to properly thank the person responsible.
It may not have seemed like a lot, but it's more. I don't know if she realizes just how big it is.
She's taken it as a sign to appreciate the good.
The feeling that she gave me by doing that act, I hadn't felt that the whole Christmas season. So I wasn't focusing on the holidays and the family and together, and as much as I should have.
As for the money, she's going to hang on to that piece of kindness for now.
In all honesty, I don't think I'm going to use it. It's going to hang there as a reminder. There is good in this world. And every time I have one of those days where I'm in a funk or not feeling good, I can look at that and say, hey, you live.
Thanks for joining us.